Hello and welcome to this 5-part video training series all about habits of the happy. We're going to be talking about what it takes to live a life that you love. And the amazing thing about happiness is that it's up to you. At least that's what I believe. I believe that happiness is a choice, that it's not a right that we have or a result of something that may happen in the future. I don't want to live my life, and I don't want you to be living your life around the phrase, I'll be happy when. And given that, I also believe that happiness is an act of courage. It is a choice that you make every single day, and it's a choice that begins with you. Your happiness is being determined right now. The fact that you're listening to this training, that's a choice that you're making. You are putting the work in, the effort in to get better, to find out the secrets and the things that you can do in your personal life to make sure that you're happy. And the reason I chose to talk about habits of happy people is that our habits are determined by our actions. And since we're all creatures of habits, I believe that our habits are what make us. And because of their power, they also have the ability to break us as well. So our habits are our usual way of behaving. It's something that we do on the regular and we repeat all the time. So through this training series, it's my mission to help you dissolve any of the habits that are holding you back and instead guide you along this journey to uplift you to create new healthy habits that focus on your happiness and development. Over the next several weeks, you're going to be receiving video training series on habits of happy people as it relates to the relationship you have with yourself. We're going to talk about the relationship that you have with others, the most common life behaviors of happy people, decision-making habits, and it'll wrap up with the habits around work. Today, though, we're going to be focusing on the relationship that you have with yourself. One of the most important relationships you have. I remember when I was in high school and I would be upset about friends or boyfriends or just overall life circumstances. And I always remember my mom and dad telling me that I was never going to be happy until I loved myself. And I can just see my teenage self rolling my eyes and completely dismissing this thought. And it wasn't until I got older that I realized the truth in this sentiment. It wasn't until I truly was forced and backed into a corner to have that relationship with myself that I realized the power in it. And I share this with you because I believe that is the first habit of happy people in terms of their relationship with themselves. They put themselves first. They truly love themselves. They take care of their needs and not as a selfish act. So you see on the screen, there's this comic, two ladies walking down the street saying, between yoga, Pilates, therapy, massage, and meditation, I hardly have time for myself. And this is obviously meant as a joke. I put it in here though because I know for me that if I don't make it to my mat and do my yoga practice, if I don't spend time in quiet and in meditation and reflection, I'm not the person that I know that I can be. I know that I am a better person when I take care of myself. And so I put this on here as putting yourself first, not as a selfish act, but knowing that the better you take care of yourself, the better that you can take care of others. You will be a more effective friend, spouse, lover, coworker if you put yourself first. Now, the second habit I want to talk about is the idea of practicing positive self-talk. And this is all around the idea that what you focus on expands. If you are constantly allowing negative self-talk to enter into your brain, things like, I'm not good enough, I don't think I can do it, that just seems too hard, that is what will expand in your life. Whereas on the flip side, if you focus on the positive and you focus on what could be, the ideas of what you want to happen, that is what you will see flourish. Another great point to this is the idea that our brains are not lie detectors. So that means even if you don't quite believe it yourself yet, all of this positive self-talk that you're going to start practicing, your brain is going to process that data. Your brain is not a lie detector, it's a data processor. And the same goes for if you're telling yourself that you're not good enough, you're not sure that you can do it, it might be too hard, but what if I fail? Those are the things that your brain is going to process. So I encourage you to start practicing positive self-talk and see how over time this habit will uplift your spirits. Now, on the flip side of this, happy people also censor their own negative self-talk. We all do it. We all have moments of doubt. We all have those days when we can't seem to stop the cycle of stress or negativity. It happens. But what happy people tend to do is they learn how to tune themselves out. They block those thoughts. They don't let them run continuously. Instead, when those thoughts enter in, I encourage you to acknowledge them and then watch them fade away. Don't try to completely block all the negativity because that's impossible. And what I found is the more you try to not think about something rather than just turning to face it, the more you try to pretend it's not there, the more it becomes this big looming shadow that doesn't ever go away. So practice that positive self-talk as well as censoring some of the negativity. The next habit that happy people engage in their relationship with themselves is they treat their bodies with respect. They understand that they have natural needs, natural rhythms to themselves, and they make sure that they pay attention to those things. What are the things that make you feel your best? What are the things that drag you down? Do you need a lot of social interaction and a lot of things booked in your schedule? Or are you somebody who needs to slow down a little bit? Get to know what you need naturally and respect that. Pay attention to it and nurture that. Treating your body with respect also has to do with the self-care that you practice. This is the foods that you eat, the recovery that you engage in, the books that you read, the people that you talk to on a regular basis. All of those things are taking care of yourself. If you are somebody who works a really physical job and your muscles are tight and sore all the time, consider getting a massage or going to a yoga class. Invest in your own health and self-care and just watch how that will increase the energy, the joy, and the happiness in your life. Last point here is that your body is your most precious resource. It is what enables you to do everything. It's what enables you to work the job that you do, to have the relationships that you do, to engage in the fun and the activities. So investing in your body as the most precious resource you own is a habit that if you develop will increase happiness more than investing in a new piece of technology, more than investing in a vacation even. Your body is something that you need to take care of. And as this picture says here, you are a work of art. And in that, moving your body a lot, knowing that you are this amazing, living, breathing creature with so many systems that work together between your muscles and your respiratory, your digestive, all of the systems of the body work together in this miraculous way. And in order to make sure that you are harnessing the power within you, you need to move. You need to exhaust your muscles, stretch them, push them, and of course, recover yourself. So the happiest people, they move, they exercise. And in addition to harnessing the power that resides within you, exercise releases endorphins. And those endorphins are a natural drug. It's something you can tap into at any point. So the next time that you're having a rough day or feeling a little down, do a set of 50 jumping jacks. Go for a walk around the block and see if it hasn't changed your mindset. Happy people believe in themselves. They're confident. They try things that other people don't. They have this faith in the world that they can do what they put their mind to. And they have this faith that even if they jump and they don't know what's on the other side of that fishbowl, they believe there's something there to catch them. And there's so much freedom in that faith in yourself because you aren't looking external. You aren't looking around you for that validation. You're looking internally to know what you can and cannot do. And when you have that faith in yourself, some days it's all that keeps you going. And some days the fact that you have that, it is delivered to you as such a gift, because there are days that you might give up. There are days when you don't feel happy, when it is a choice to keep going. It is easier to stop. And so practicing the belief and the faith in yourself, it's one of those examples of your brain being a data processor and not a lie detector. So continuing to tell yourself the confidence you have, the abilities you have, you can will yourself to do just about anything. Happy people in the relationship with themselves. Happy people eat healthy food. They eat the foods that energize them. I did an exercise recently at a workshop where I asked some people to consider the foods that made them feel the best. And what came as a surprise to me is that someone volunteered the information that they had remembered this delicious snack that they always made. It was a slice of bread with tuna and sliced green apple on top. And they used to make it for themselves during study sessions in college. And it always made them feel just strong and energized and focused, ready to take a test. And what they shared was that they couldn't remember the last time that they made that for themselves. And they didn't know why. They knew how great it was for them. They knew how great it made them feel, but we just get stuck in this routine and we forget some of the things that make us feel the best. So I would invite you to consider too, what are the foods that make you feel awesome? For me, in the mornings, it's making a couple of poached eggs, a piece of sprouted grain bread, and a half an avocado with some lemon or lime and Himalayan pink salt. If I eat that for breakfast, like I did today, I am guaranteed to be energized for hours. I feel great physically. I digest that food really well. And the fact that I'm not, set back with hunger pains an hour later, it just keeps me extremely productive throughout the entire day. So eating the foods that energize you, eating healthy foods is an investment in yourself. And I believe you can either invest in your health now with healthy food, or, as this quote says, the food you eat can be the most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. There is so much power in the food we eat. And I've noticed that the happiest people tend, along with treating their bodies with respect, they eat healthy food. Happy people get a lot of sleep. They understand that the window that is the best amount of sleep is going to be between 7 and 9 hours a night. And I know that some of you listening may think 7 to 9 hours, I'm lucky if I get 6. And I completely understand. We have lifestyles now that require us to stay up late and get up early. I also believe that we can find adjustments in our day somewhere. Find an adjustment that allows you to get even 15 more minutes of sleep, half an hour. Start to build upon how much sleep you get in small increments. The amount of physiological repair that takes place during sleep is just absolutely priceless. When you sleep, your muscles have a chance to repair themselves. Your tissue growth occurs, the repair to your tissues happens. When you sleep, that is when your energy is stored. That is when the focus, the clarity, the productive day that you might have tomorrow is being built. It is so important that you take that time for yourself, because if you don't, all of the hormonal processes that need to take place during sleep are disrupted. And when that happens, we don't feel our best. We feel groggy. We feel grouchy. We even have a hard time regulating our hunger when we don't sleep. And in regards to sleep, one of the things that I notice is that happiest people tend to sleep on things. They tend to take a day, take a night to reflect and allow all the unconscious processes of our brain to do the work of making a decision, of coming up with a new idea. So getting sleep not only is going to help repair your body and leave you feeling your best, but it also mentally will help you start to make some of the best decisions. Come on, inner peace, I don't have all day. The happiest people I know consider their spirit. They take time to look inward. And as I said earlier, happiness is an act of courage and it is a choice. And one of the most challenging things to do can be to look inward and to find stillness. But if you're able to look inward and find contentment, that is where you find the faith in yourself. That is where you are able to find the energy to be happy, to find the energy to look at the world in an optimistic way. So taking the time to consider the spirit and also reflect on how what we do affects the rest of the world. The actions that we engage in our everyday lives, they have an effect on other people. And when we consider how much our actions are affecting others, it tends to change the way that we act as a whole. We have this tendency as human beings to be able to let ourselves down if that's the only person we're considering. If we're engaging in acts only thinking about ourselves in a selfish way, we tend to make decisions that aren't so great for ourselves or for other people. We have this ability to just put our blinders on when we're only considering ourselves. And it's when you look external as well to see how you're going to affect the person next to you or the people that you live with in your home, the people you work with, your friends. You don't want to let them down. So reflecting on how our actions affect the world in turn make us happier because it affects our behavior. We go about things a little bit more cheerfully if we know that a decision we make or an action that we engage in is going to positively affect someone else. The last habit I have for happy people and the relationships they have with themselves are to release resentment. The happiest people let things go. This doesn't mean that you have to have a relationship with everyone who wrongs you or that there's no room for you to ever be upset or angry. But what it does mean is that the happiest people don't let things get in the way of them being content, happy, joyful. They don't allow these roadblocks to affect how we go about our life. I can think back at times when people or certain things have hurt me so deeply. And it wasn't until I forgave the situation, if only for myself, that I was truly able to let things go. And releasing that resentment just clears the way for so much light to spread throughout your life. And again, this is a choice that we make, and it's sometimes easier to instead just allow that roadblock to be an excuse. Because if we have an excuse, then it's understandable why we aren't able to achieve what we want. It's understandable why we just stay where we're at. Because happiness has so much power. It has the power to uplift you. It has the power to put you in a whole new stratosphere compared to the people around you. And sometimes that can be scary. Sometimes being a happy person can be lonely. And I say this because I've heard people tell me that other people have let them know that they could never be friends with a person like me because I just seem to be too optimistic and happy all the time. And I do consider myself a happy person, but it's something that is a choice, and it can be a struggle. It can be lonely. People may not understand you. They may not understand why you take the time to consider your spirit and look internally. They may not understand why you have to put yourself first, and you have to get the sleep that you need, and you have to take care of yourself. You may be labeled as a selfish person. And so the happiest people, they are content with who and what they are, and they understand the reason why they do what they do. So this is just the first video in a 5-part training series. The next series we're going to look at has to do with the relationships that happy people have with others. And so I hope you enjoyed this first training, and I hope you can take just one of these 10 habits and start to practice this in your daily life. And I'd love to hear from you. Comment on the video and shoot me an email, Natalie@nataliepeterson.net, and I hope to talk to you real soon.